Hi guys! Welcome back to episode 2 of this series. Grab your tea and let's chat. Guess what tea I'm drinking? Leave them in the comments below and I'll let you know if you guys guessed correctly. For today's episode, I was inspired by some of the recent events in my personal life that has gone down. Honestly, it's been like such a night and day from filming last week to this week. I think in the last episode I shared that I was currently a talent manager and pursuing all these like side projects, but I no longer am in that position anymore. I had some, I wouldn't say drama, but some issues internally, and now I am looking for a new role. But it's been really hard because I worked so hard last year so that I could relish in everything that I've worked for, a successful start of the new year. And within a week my life has looked so different, and there has been so many issues that have been honestly emotionally and physically draining. And I could tell by my skin that I wasn't doing well, because whenever I'm not getting enough sleep, whenever I'm stressed, I get like acne, or my skin texture is just like terrible. Side note, if you guys are curious about my skincare routine, I can do a separate video on that. But anyways, I wasn't doing well, and there were many days initially where I was so depressed I didn't want to do anything. And it made me really upset because I wanted to film content. I wanted to work on all these new projects for this year. But when you're sad, it's really hard to get out of bed. It's really hard to do something. And so that was me. And then some other days I was honestly a bit grateful and relieved that I didn't have the stress of not the talent manager role, but working with this particular person was a bit difficult. I was relieved that I did not have to deal with that anymore. Soon I had another rush of anxiety kick in because I'm having to figure out my job situation and finances in New York City. It's not cheap to live here, and even doubting like if my decision to move here 2 years ago was the best. And I think these thoughts naturally creep in because our body is trying to protect us. But sometimes in situations like this, you have to push yourself to do something that maybe your body doesn't want you to do. For example, it's natural to feel down and depressed and sad over these unfortunate events. I'm also speaking personally from my experience. Take this with a grain of salt because every situation is different, and I don't personally know what's going on in your life. But if you can relate to some of the things that I'm feeling or going through, hopefully you can take away a few things and implement it into your life. But I think the first thing is I'm going to be looking at my notes because I did some deep reflection over the past weekend and few days this week. And I wanted to tell myself that I needed to persevere through this time. Honestly, there were some moments where I was like, I just want to give up. But I told myself I need to persevere. Life is a long journey, right? And this moment, this season may seem long, may seem like there's no light at the end of the tunnel, but there is. And we have to believe that. This is another way to build character. Even when you don't feel like it, you gotta push yourself to do certain things. Not everyone needs to do that, but in my case, I believe that this was for the best for me. Doing things like this will not only build discipline, but it builds resilience, and it essentially builds a character. It's a muscle that I haven't used as much, or I don't like using as much, but I still need to. I believe that this is an important character, especially with the goals that I have in my personal development life and career. I kept telling myself, even if it's not a lot, just do something. It's a movement. Walk outside. Go meet someone. Get some fresh air. Staying indoors is, I feel like, one of the greatest traps to not doing anything because it's comfortable. Being at home and relaxing in your warm bed or whatever is nice. And you can do that for the first few days, but don't let that be an everyday thing for months. That could lead to years. And what I did was I intentionally scheduled workouts, meetings with my close friends, so that I could go outside and get some fresh air, get some new perspective. And it also helped me to clear my mind, to not spiral into anxiety. Thirdly, I think it's important to have a strong support system, whether that is a community of friends, your family members, or even your partner. Sometimes we don't have all of that, right? Like my friends are scattered everywhere. Luckily, they have been extremely supportive during this time, and I've been able to call them, and they've been encouraging me, reminding me of why I should keep going. And another thing that I feel like is really helpful is having another outlet to distract yourself from spiraling is finding a hobby or something, right? Like filming a video or learning pottery or joining a run club. Whatever it is that you enjoy, use your energy towards it. And lastly, personally for me, this is one of the most important ones, and it's spirituality, whether that's a religion or a spiritual practice. Having a safe space to reflect, to pray, to meditate, have some hope that there is going to be light at the end of the tunnel. And even though my situation right now is not good, that doesn't mean my situation later isn't going to be good. So show yourself some grace and love. Be kind to yourself during this time. I personally felt like I was really mean to myself initially, really upset. I questioned some of the decisions that I made, even though some things were honestly out of my control. It's important to remind yourself that if you can give that grace to your friends and your family and other people around you, you should be able to give that to yourself. So be kind to yourself during this time. You will see a light at the end of the tunnel. It might take some time. It took me a while to find myself coming back from working in Korea. I told myself I wanted to rush through things, but I think the process of getting there is more important than the end result. I've always known about this idea of enjoying the process, enjoying the journey. It's hard for me to process that as something that I can enjoy because on a day-to-day basis, things happen. It's hard sometimes to keep going. I have to remind myself that even though the situations that have occurred to me may not be what I've been expecting or what I wanted it to happen, I need to keep going because believe and know that there will be good days ahead. I feel like I repeated a few things, but maybe that's a good thing because it's a reminder for you to find the strength to continue on. I think that's it for today's episode. I felt like I was pretty straight to the point. Hopefully you guys found some of this helpful. Let me know if there's anything else that you guys would like to hear from me, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.